as you can see by the title of this video, my last video for this channel, I made this channel for topics of being awoke, political, which goes into politics, and also exposing how we are in the black community, us as black people, and the things that, we do need to stop doing. Because what we tend to do, it falls back on us, and we need to take responsibility for our actions. And we do need to be exposed so we can stop doing a lot of the shit that gives us as black people bad names. Just like you have good apples, you got bad apples. One falls in that bowl, it spoils the bunch. You got good people, you got bad people. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but it's going to be giving some examples. And the things that we do does make me ashamed of being part black. I am a mixed race. I am, again, Cherokee Indian, South African, Jamaican, Egyptian, Italian. So take that into effect. I have interracial experiences on both sides of the fence, but I'm white and black. I'm right there on that invisible borderline. A path of being a mixed breed. And the things that I experienced in my life of being a mixed breed. So I want to kind of go in order about some of the topics that I have did the best that I can remember, at least the ones that stand out to me the most. And hopefully this channel will help people. It's nothing bad. It's not being racist. It's not bashing. No, it's topics that I've been wanting to do, because we do need to stop doing a lot of things as black people. Because there are things, again, that we do that we make it worse on ourselves. The first thing that I touched on that I got upset about is about people kneeling at the American flag. People kneeling at the American flag. And I want to go on my channel because I want to make sure I got this in order right now. Let me go ahead and find that. Give me a minute. The video I did about 9 months ago has 4 views, and it's called Know Your History. That's a video I went off on because during the kneeling of the flag, us as black people, us following a puppet known as Colin Kaepernick, and I will get into that. But the video I done, called, again, it's called, Know Your History. It's about 9 months old. That's one of the first things I think I really discovered on what I want to do with that channel, is being awoke, giving, knowledge. And why that video I took to heart when I done it. Because us as black people, we have to follow somebody throughout history. Us as black people, throughout all of history, right? Decades of history. We always intend to follow somebody of a higher stature, of a higher power. somebody who is a political figure, but who doesn't have powers, a front man. And we tend to follow these trends that get bad backlashes, and we add on to that. So following Colin Kaepernick, who is a puppet, who plays for a slavery sport. Yes, football is a slave sport. He's getting paid by higher executives, right, to do this type of bullshit. To make the American flag a symbolism of freedom into a negative symbol when it's not. I don't think you guys really realize how powerful or the true meaning of the American flag is. And that's why something that we need in the black community, us as black people, in this quote-unquote word culture, which we are not a culture. We are not. And I have a video on this channel called The True Meaning of the Word Culture, because we tend to throw around words that we don't know shit about. In other words, we don't have the definition or the true knowledge of history, and we need education. And that's one thing about this channel, is me giving history lessons as well. Because it's okay to have knowledge. It is okay to have knowledge. You know, we tend to look at somebody who has knowledge, who speaks properly, and say, oh, well, they ain't black. They want to be coons. No. People who say that to down people who have educations, they're the coons, not the people that have educations. But, you know, we have friends, we have family members who are in the war, who are in the services, fighting for our freedom, for us to go to school, go to work, try to take care of our families. Be able to do everyday things that you like to do, or what you intend to do to go towards your goal, because people die carrying that flag for freedom. And over across seas, a lot of countries don't have freedom like you think. There's a reason why we're the most hated country in the world, because we got more freedom than others, and people see that flag and that gives them a symbolism of hope. And you're painting something as a bad thing because you're following a false idol. You see what I'm saying? So that's why we need education in the black community. We need true education. You know, going in on that, which would be propaganda. You know, we intend on believing something that we see on TV a lot, on the news, and there's a lot of things we have to stop doing that, because not everything on television is going to be true. You know, a lot of it, media is hyped up to paint out bad things, and you know, bad news or lies sell the most rather than the truth, because a lie is so much easier to believe than the truth. So much more easier. And we need to start looking at things at different perspectives, different angles, and be open-minded. Now, going in on that, one video that I done maybe about a couple years ago that I uploaded onto this channel about 6 months ago, called Let's Talk Facebook and Social Media Hates People of Color. Those that post real knowledge, speak on real things, those actual posts from, you know, the text, video, along with picture format as well, tend to get took down, because social media does not like people of color who have knowledge, because they want to see us post the fuck shit. You know, I don't know what else to call it. And from that one video that I done so many years ago, I say so many because I don't know how long, but I posted on this channel about 6 months ago, called Jay's are not a big deal. And I'm talking about, shoes, which goes into us again going into the slave sport. We tend to spend a shit ton of money on the same pair of shoes that come out every year. They're always the black and red ones. They're not new because those shoes are made so much. There's warehouses full of them. And if you look into your closet, you're buying the same pair over and over and over again. And I remember an argument that almost broke out. Me and this one lady, we were talking about this, and this one guy wanted to interrupt and be rude and say, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Nah, these are the new ones. Nah, these just came out. But you got the same fucking pair on your feet. And the sad part about it is, it's the same thing with the NBA and the NFL games, the 2K games. Reason why I say those are slavery sports is because back, way before Christopher Columbus took black people from Africa, from Jamaica and Egypt to bring them over here to the New World, black people ourselves, within our wealthy ancestors, we enslaved our own people and branded them with numbers. Put them out there on the field. Think about that field. What do we call football? A field. What do we call pretty much another word for the court when it comes to basketball? Field, right? And then same thing with the Chinese. They did the same thing to their own people. Indians as well, even the white people. And then when they brought us all over here on ships, they branded us. They gave us numbers. So we didn't have names. We had numbers. So that's why I say those sports are slavery sports, because you're not known by your name in the sports world. You're known by your number. Think about that. Think about that for a minute. Going in on that, I touched on this a bit briefly, and this video was uploaded 4 months ago. It got 9 views, and it's called The Meaning of the Word Culture. And again, we need to stop throwing around these words that we hear every day, these titles, if we don't know the true definition or even the history to have knowledge about them and what they truly mean. Now that video is 33 minutes long, and I do recommend people checking it out because it goes into the actual real knowledge of the word culture. Here in the hip hop world that we live, it's not a culture. If anything, it's a fad and it's a brand. And just like us as black people, we're not cultured people. We're not, and there's a reason why I say that. But it goes into why I say that in that video. Going from there is selling sexuality to today's children and today's hip-hop world. If you're a single mother, a father, even if you two are together, there's a line that needs to be drawn when it comes to kids. Don't try to force. If you have a son, he's a male. Let him be a male. Don't try to change your child into another gender. And that's what I'm seeing a lot of this happen. And we're sending and raising our kids today at a young age. And I mean a very young age, and they're thinking that they're either bisexual or gay, and they don't know what being bisexual and gay is. Holy shit. They don't know what being bisexual and gay is. And it's the parents that are doing that. But it's within our DNA system to do that. I say that because a lot of our powerful black leaders, the ones that really sold us out to be slaves back way long time ago, yeah, we got sold out. A lot of the males were gays and bisexuals. Believe it or not, a lot of the rich, wealthy kings, the ones that sold us out to become slaves, that's where that came from. Not just from Africa, but also from Jamaica, Egypt, and Mexico. And also the Chinese. Plus the white as well. Next, brutality. You know, I go into several videos about cops, about brutality. Not all cops are bad, and why it's hard to trust cops as well. So I go into 3 different perspectives, and I talk about my experience. I know for a while you've seen videos surfacing of some of these young teens being beat by cops. Well, we need to stop playing the victim when it comes to that. We need to stop playing the victim when it comes to that. I say that because my experience running the streets with a group of people once upon a time when I was young is there's a side of the story that they're not going to show you on social media. There's a side of the story they're not going to show you. And that side is the side of us starting the shit first with authorities. I know this because I was one of them. We said names, aggravated it, pushed the situation to where violence did break out, to where we got stopped, to where we were doing things out in public, you know, we shouldn't have been doing. So yes, we were constantly getting stopped by cops. And one could say, oh, are you guys getting harassed? Well, no, because again, one side of the story, they're not going to show you that the teens are starting the shit first. But what they want to show you is the cops beating the teens, and what's driving us to hate police force. Because we like to play the victim. And that's one thing as black people we need to stop. We need to stop playing the card of being the victim. You know, we're not victims. What I'm telling you is the truth, because, again, when I was around them ages and rolling with a crew, we started the shit first. And it broke out into things like that, which you see. So it's not police's fault. It's not. Not all the time, it's not. Next is a topic which goes into pedophilia that's been going around lately with the R. Kelly and Michael Jackson thing. And I'm going to give some examples, and I'm going to confess to some things. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. What the fuck you doing? It's not like that. But I want to give my examples of things that I'm guilty of when it comes to abuse. And it's not towards children. It was towards women. And I'm man enough to admit that I'm guilty of it, just like most of us men are. You know, not just black men, but also white men, Chinese men, Indian men. Big time. And with these examples, go into, you know, why R. Kelly is actually guilty versus why Michael Jackson is really innocent. So, I'm going to say this much for the first half, you know. Me, I do go through bipolar depression. I do have anger issues. I do go through suicidal thoughts. And one thing about that, you know, no one likes to be alone, especially when it comes to relationships. So some of my past relationships, you know, I was aggressive. You know, I wasn't putting my hands on a woman. You know, I didn't have the balls enough, but I would down my partners, you know, through verbal abuse and mental abuse as well, you know, towards them to make them feel like shit. Also within stalking as well, you know, because no one wants to be alone, and that's where all that came from, because I didn't want to be alone. And I got that way because, well, my father and my mother, their relationship, abusive relationship in every sense of the word, was towards, their relationship. Along with that, there would be times where I would use a bit of intimidation, and in order for nothing to truly happen, I would pay and give them money to my partners. The females that I was with, like, here's some money, I'm finna buy you love, or here's some money to shut you the fuck up, just so the authorities wouldn't get involved. But you know what? I did answer for those. I did. Yeah, I did. But what I did is like really fucking stupid and petty shit. And when I grew from that, I made my peace with it, and that's it. I moved on. I did. But a lot of it came from past experiences with my parents and those around me as well, from what I've seen. And because of that, that's just how I thought how relationships worked. Which goes into two more other stories that I can give examples with some partners of mine. My ex-partner, well, first and foremost, I like older women. I always been attracted to older women. So for me, it would be late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s. My number range for women. My partner, on the other hand, made me question a lot about him because he was attracted to younger girls. Not women, girls. I'm not going to say his name. He already answered for his shit. Well, he did, but he really didn't. And I'll get into that. But, he liked to mess with those underneath his age. He was physically abusive, and I've seen this more time on several occasions from him. When it all came down to it, when he done it to one last person, it didn't play out so well, so authorities got involved, right? Well, rather than him being a man about it and accepting his crime and his punishment, he ran his mouth, told on people, and then to save his ass a bit more, he joined the military. And intentionally throughout that, still to give up people because he chose to be a coward. He chose to be a coward. Not too much more I can say about that. And some of them who went through this abuse with them, they spoke on it. I couldn't fuck with that, with what he did. So, I was like, I'm not fucking with you for that. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. So, he had to go. One of my other partners, who was one of the biggest drug dealers in the South, once upon a time, he was open and honest to me about saying, yeah, he used to beat women. Reason why they never said anything because, he had money. Money comes power. So you're going to give him shut up money. But along with that's going to come intimidation and also fear from the other side of the victim. So that's why they're not going to say nothing. But when he got busted for drugs, that's when they decided to come out and give their statements, which added on a bit more time. So those are again, are examples. Now, me, I shared my part, and it's, really petty shit, really verbal abuse. Verbal. Words. When words hurt, and also money. Now, some women I had some things on. Like, I know some shit about you that I can easily put out there to get your ass caught and in trouble. In order for that not to get to that point, in order for you to stay quiet and we can be good, what did I do? Paid them money. You know, I moved on from that. I did. You know, I'm man enough to admit, you know, when I got caught with some stuff that I did, wasn't towards that. It's like, you're going to get caught for other crimes outside of that do add on to that. And, you know, I did pay for my debt to society. You know, I answered it. I've done time several times. And, again, you know, I made my peace with it. Not too much else, you know, I can really say. But with those examples come with the R. Kelly examples as well. Why he's actually guilty. When you're presented, like, these are my phone receipts, but let's say it's paperwork, right? And you're presented with a videotape, right? As well. So we're going to say one of the CDs I'm working on is a videotape, right? There's been stories about R. Kelly going back before he was famous, having sex with underage girls. He didn't get caught because of one thing. He was getting a bit of money. A bit of money holds some power, right? As time goes on, that money builds up, the power goes up. If you don't have that money with power, then yeah, you're most likely automatically, pretty much quick, are going to be thrown, pretty much going to be caught. You're going to get caught, regardless. And, you know, my ex-partner, who I was talking about, you know, he didn't have money. That's why his shit, with what I shared, got caught quick. But in order to save his ass, he had to snitch. So, R. Kelly's situation, again, why he's guilty is simple the fact of this money right here is shut up money. Well, before that money's took, there's physical abuse he did towards them. Right? Physical abuse. Along with that, you're going to want to find something on the family to use and hold against them. Leverage. Now, grooming. You're going to groom these young girls. Grooming in pretty much terms of pretty much brainwashing. And it is true, you know, throughout so many years, you're not going to hear about people speak out. Because of the mental factor, they're in fear for their lives. How they're in fear for their lives? Again, when you have money comes power, and you can get someone killed with the right amount of money and not get caught. So by the time R. Kelly was in his 30s, he was up there with it. Now, we all seen the videotape, right? But believe it or not, again, let's pretend the CD's a videotape. Let's pretend this CD that I got in my hand is a videotape. There is a black market out there. When I mean black market, I mean it goes into, I guess, pimping, human trafficking, selling people, selling human organs, abducting kids from school and already having them across the border. That's what I mean by the black market. And with R. Kelly, because he comes from, really he's from New York. May say he's from Chicago. Right? R. Kelly's younger experiences when he talked about his mother, how he used to get disciplined by her, and the feelings he felt from that were sexual feelings. If you study criminal psychology, then you know the statements that he gave are earlier stages and developments of a rapist, of a pedophilia. Kind of like the B2K killer. And it doesn't surprise me that he would videotape, because people like that do videotape. Again, let's pretend this is a videotape. Do videotape their action. And you're going to sell them on the black market. And that's what he did. So, throughout so many years, where we are to now, with all the paperwork, let's pretend these phone payments that I got are paperwork of R. Kelly, right? So many of the paperwork, evidence, right? Statements and money, right? Is now, got looked into then and even now, to where the point, yes, it's now catching up to him, because there's different points of different emotions of anger, of guilt. So that interview, when he got upset, being pushed and drilled with those questions per se, you're going to feel a sense of anger, because you're going to get this. We all had this feeling of guilt that we did. I don't care who you are. We all had a feeling of guilt. You get this feeling like you want, like you're nauseous, like you want to get sick, but it's not that. You get this. You feel this pressure on your chest, on your shoulders, and your heart is finally kicking in, saying, "Look, man, you know what you did." And he got upset because the guilt is getting to him, and all of the shit that he is doing is now finally catching up. And there's only so long and so much money that he can stretch out to buy out the courts until there's no more money there. You can have and actually, people are known to do this shit, to keep people hostage and keep them in a house for so long, and that's what he did. It's a realistic thing. Our so-called black kings, and years ago, not just black kings, not just Chinese kings, not just Egyptian kings, not just white kings. When I mean kings, I mean through years of castles, right? Older men, and I'm even talking from even Mexico as well. During the times where people were ruling over kingdoms, the high kings, because they had power and wealth, they had sex with underage children. It's a realistic thing. Very real. Know your history. So, now with all it coming back on him, it's only a matter of time until he snaps. When I mean snaps, actually confessing to it. If you pay back a look, if you pay attention to the interview he did, he's giving out key words to say, yeah, he's innocent. He let shit slip out. Yeah, I let them leave the house. Wait, you let them leave the house, right? Pay attention to that. They ain't choosing to be there, man. You just don't want no random people living with you. You're holding somebody against their will. There's a case years ago in New York. This guy, he was kidnapping women, killing them, and he was burying them in his walls in his house and underneath the floors and underneath the basement. They found over 50 bodies buried. But he kept one alive that he kidnapped in 91 and raised his child until she was the age of 19 years old. holding her against her will, and kept her in the backyard in a tent. And this was in a very tight space with houses where people are easily nosy. But the best way to hide something is in plain sight. So the examples I just gave throughout everything is why R. Kelly's guilty. And why MJ is innocent. Because, one thing MJ is guilty of is abandonment. He abandoned them kids, yeah. However, his father wasn't a nice guy. Now, LaToya, she's bipolar as fuck. In 93, she came out, said shit about her brother. 2010, she said her ex-husband made her say that. Now she's going back saying the same shit she said about her brother in 93. I believe Joe Jackson really did some shit to those kids. And because of that, Michael did not want to do that. And when there's evidence involved and trying to find evidence, couldn't find nothing. You want to know why? Because you are going to have cases where people are going to want to set somebody up just to get money. And that was with Michael's case. They seen Michael was worth billions of dollars, and he still is. They wanted money from him. So, it's easy for people to believe anybody who's white, because all they have to do is fucking cry and we'll believe them. Michael felt uncomfortable at times around people. He trusted people too much as well. The only time where he felt normal was taking care of kids. The only time he felt normal is when he got to be a father with his children. The only time he felt normal was when he was on stage. And if he was really found guilty of that stuff, he wouldn't be allowed with his children. That's just how it goes. And I was like, well, what about the first payoff? He paid them off. No, he did not want to pay them off. He did not want to pay them off. He wanted to take it to court. Thing is, he had too many yes men around him. And the reason for that, because it's Michael Jackson. The second time, I think, was like 05, I believe, 03. He took it to court. He fought it. But along with that comes certain type of DNA testing. Swab, blood, urine, and sperm. And once all those came in as unmatched towards the victims, they got caught in that shit. Wade Robinson and James Safechuck, they have records for quite a while them making these false allegations. And it turned out to be false because investigations are going to go on. When you go through something like that, you're going to be investigated thoroughly. And some people's motives are just to have money. And no, it's not about them getting their masters. No, MJ spoke truth. He owned publishing. But because he was getting too powerful, they killed him off. R. Kelly's is not about him owning his publishing. His label dropped his ass for all this shit because they would lose money and business if they kept him. Thing is, all his shit that R. Kelly has been doing is finally catching up to his ass. That's why. But here's another example, which goes into why we need to stop, and I'm talking about us as black men, why we need to stop downing real victims, and why we need to stop championing why we need to stop championing fake victims. Partner of mine, he goes by the Buddy, right? Good friend. He was found innocent on his pedophilia charges. The motives, what those girls had, for one, the Buddy, he was born not being able to walk. His parents went through so much shit, and I was there throughout this journey, so I know. His parents went through so much that literally went broke so they could get him the operation for him to use his legs again. Yes, he may not be all there. He's a nice person, that he has a nice heart. Along with that, yes, he has an aging thing. Yes, he does look around his 60s, but he's really 25 years old. He was born with that. Can't help that. because of that, they thinking, oh, he might be getting some kind of big pay of disability of some sort, so we can get money. Thing is, he wasn't make that much from SSI. Nobody does. But he also was working 2 jobs. You know, they wanted money from him. These girls wanted money from my friend. Well, once they found out, plus he was almost close to being monetized through TikTok to get paid by them. But once they found out that he wasn't going to be able to get monetized anytime soon and that he was only making so much money, you know what they decided? Let's set him up. Since we ain't getting money from him, let's set him up. And how did they set him up? They chose him because he's different from the things that I explained. But also they made these fake accounts to try to make it seem like it was him. But guess what? There's something that people don't know. The mobile devices that we use, them SIM cards, they hold strong information and data to track what you do on those accounts. Now, what do you mean? Okay, I'm going to tell you what I mean. If you make a Facebook account on a mobile device and you do something on Facebook and the authorities get involved, your account holds a number. That account number can be traced back to your mobile device that's in your name. Just like Instagram. If you make, we make Instagram accounts through our phones. Well, now you can make them on desktop, but, really it's phone, right? Your account has a number. If you do something on there, authorities get involved, they're going to look at that account. They're going to trace that account to what mobile device it came from and where it was made. And that's how those girls got caught. Because they made fake accounts, trying to set up somebody, all because they wanted money. And especially one of those girls has a reputation of making false claims and false allegations towards people just to, again, to get money. And one thing I know is us as black men, we down real victims. And when R. Kelly was set free, everyone was saying, fuck them hoes, blah, 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 them thoughts, this, that, and the third. But when fake victims come out, especially those of white, you like the champion say, oh, they deserve justice. No. But you also have fake black victims as well. And we like to manipulate shit, especially online, when people say, oh, you can tell they're lying. There's the mother. Where's the daughter? That don't mean shit. Because we take pictures, and I've seen a lot of people do this. They take pictures, put like this text caption, post it, have it go viral, and have it seem like a real thing when it's not. Because we tend to do coonery fucking shit. And also, which goes into us being in denial, right? We take a look at evidence from paperwork, money, to, hell, even video footage, right? We say, man, that's fake. Man, yeah, they just trying to get him on some bullshit. That's fake. How can shit be fake if it's, one, documented by footage, documented by audio, count withdrawals, money that got paid to this, that, and the third, statements, paperwork, and proof? How is that fucking fake? That ain't fake. How do you think most of you dumb fucks get caught? I'm just saying. But when somebody's truly guilty with evidence that's being preceded, we like to say they didn't do it, the evidence is fake. How? How? Just like when it comes to the opposite side of the coin, right? When somebody's innocent and is presented with no evidence, we like to say, oh, well, they guilty. No. Investigations were done. Which now goes into the next topic. We need to stop championing the dumb fucks, the dumb shit. You think it's fucking cool, literally, We think it's fucking cool as black people when we listen to motherfuckers like Kodak Black talk. He don't know what the fuck he's saying. He don't. And I done a video called Why We Need to Stop Championing the Bullshit. Let me pull that video up. And that was 2 months ago. 51 minutes long. And I go in why we need to stop championing bullshit like Kevin Gates and like Kodak Black. They dumb niggas. And it goes into prime examples of why I say that and points out things. And that got like 8 views. Which goes into another thing. We need to stop saying free people who are actually convicted and guilty of killing someone. We need to stop that shit. Saying, oh, free them. Why? They killed someone. They got caught. But you saying free them? Stop and think about this for a minute while I say that. You don't know what somebody's intentions are up here. One of your family members may not be who you think they are. They killed someone. You saying free them. What if one of their motives was to kill you? Would you, right? Think about it. What if one of your family members' motives was to kill you next if they got away with the first murder? Think about that. That shit is real. It's been known to happen. There's stories out there like that. Right? You never know. Just like a friend, let's say one of your friends killed someone. They got caught, they're guilty of it. You're saying free them, right? Well, how do you know what your friend's true motives were? Up here. Because as far as they're concerned, they could be planning out to kill you next. Or maybe one of your family members. Would you still be saying free them after that? No, you wouldn't. You would want to get in blood. You would want to get blood. You would want to go out and kill them for doing that. The rapper who killed his friends, that's a prime example of a psychopath. Who doesn't care. He had the smile on his face. He got caught and he did admit that, yeah, I did kill my friends. Because, why not? You know? There's just a prime example. You don't know what someone's motives are. And we're saying free them or they're innocent. Think about that. Again, one of your family members killed someone, right? You say free them. Even though they got caught, they left DNA evidence. They left not just DNA, but other evidence as well. You ever really stop and think that maybe they were going to probably kill, maybe not even you, but maybe somebody else in the family, right? Would you still say free them? No, you wouldn't. Again, if one of your friends killed somebody and they got caught and you said free them, and again, goes back to the question. You don't know what their motives are because they could have planned to kill you next, right? Or maybe someone in your family who wouldn't still be saying the same thing. So, we have to stop that. Also, along with that, I go into the topic of parents, which also goes back into pedophilia as well. Right? One thing I forgot about in that topic, especially when it comes to those who are parents, right? I talked about this in I think it's I think it's the video I uploaded 2 weeks ago called We Need to Stop. Or the video So Sad, which was a week ago with 6 views. But anyways, really it's the black fathers that are doing the shit that I'm seeing, what I'm about to say. We turn a blind eye to a lot of things. And one video, you know, how I think it's like maybe a month old now or so, you have a video of Birdman with a 16-year-old artist in the studio dancing in his boxers in front of Birdman. Does no one see nothing wrong with that picture? Because I see a lot of shit wrong with it. And I already broke this down in so much details in some of these previous videos that I have uploaded. But we tend to champion the fucking bullshit music that comes out from it. So we ignore and silence victims. We like to ignore shit that could be our child doing that. Versus one video that I seen to where we throw our own children underneath the bus and we don't give a fuck if they get raped. And you'd be surprised how many comments I've seen on one video like this. There's a girl, 14 years old. She had the courage and the decency enough to go to her mother and say, "Your boyfriend's raped me." The mother did not believe the daughter. She called her daughter out and said, "Man, you just want my boyfriend." The daughter's in tears. She had the courage enough to tell her mother. But why now a lot of people say, well, why doesn't the mother not believe the daughter? Because the mother's being abused by the boyfriend. That's why. She's afraid of the boyfriend. Because behind closed doors, when the daughter's not there, the boyfriend beats the mother. In order for the mother, right, not to call the cops on the boyfriend, and why the mother betrays her daughter in this video is because the boyfriend is paying the mother shut up money. Like, bitch, keep your mouth shut. So here's some money. You say any fucking damn thing and I'm gonna kill you and your kid. And the comments I seen on that video is us black men saying, that girl lying, fuck her. Look, I wouldn't care if somebody had my child like that. Oh, and I seen some comments say, well, I'd be okay if somebody, you know, raped my child, and I wouldn't care. I seen comments like that, and that's very sad to see. Very sad to see. And then the next thing that we need to stop doing as black people, man, is slapping a racism card on everything. Not everything's a racial issue. Not everything is a fucking racial issue, man. It's not. For example, I got a Gucci knockoff shirt. Does this shirt offend you? If it does, you're one stupid motherfucker. This should not offend you. This does not represent racist of any kind. Because one thing I noticed that we always slap race on is because of things that we can't afford. Again, you have bad apples. And you have the wrong type of people. You got coons. And these are the people that are miserable with their lives and themselves. That like to take something that other people enjoy and ruin it. And then it becomes a whole fucking uproar. Those that do this are miserable with their lives. They're unhappy with themselves. So they got to ruin everything for everyone else. And we need to cut those type of people out. We don't need them. We don't. And you need to stop hanging around with those kind of people. And I learned my lesson like that the hard way. Because I used to be down with a lot of low down people like that shit, like I just described. You know, every time they needed something, I was there. But you know what? When I was down and out and I needed help, they weren't there. And when I got locked up for outside crime shit that I was doing, guess what? Not one fucking free me. What it was, oh well, he's locked up, fuck him, keep him. Yeah, when I got locked up, a lot of people, you know, when I was locked up 3 times at a time, 3 times, a lot of people who knew I was locked up, they were happy that I got locked up. You know, a lot of people hate me for different reasons. Because I literally keep it real and I refuse to follow a false idolized God. I refuse to be a sheep. I refuse to not be educated. I choose to have education. I choose to stand out. I choose to be myself and to speak knowledge. That's why people wanted me locked up. So, with all that being said, that's why I made this channel. So we can be awoke as black people going into, yes, it goes into politics, but it goes in to being exposed. And when I say exposed, I have a playlist called Awoke Political Black Community Exposed and Topics on my Cheddar Cherry 931 channel. Yes, the shit that we do as black people, we need to be exposed of. We need to expose ourselves. And that's what I'm doing. I'm exposing the truth to how shit really fucking is. Again, it's not all of us, but it's a good majority of us. Also, to give history, to give education, knowledge, so you can grow beyond your expectations that society puts you in, which goes into what they don't expect from you versus what they expect from you. You know, it's okay not to follow a trend. It's okay to have education. It's okay to grow beyond who you want to be mentally, spiritually, physically, to gain knowledge, man. It's okay to be different. You don't have to follow this shit that's going on. So all that being said is why I made this channel to begin with, man. And I also confessed about, you know, with things that I was involved in along with certain type of abuse. Again, my shit was petty, you know, like birds. Nothing physical happened because, again, I was too fucking chicken shit. But you know what? There's a reason why it never got to that. Because of what happened to two of my closest friends back in 97. They were girls. They used to invite not just me over, but a couple other people from the neighborhood. Play together. We all had one big sleepover one time. And last time that I hung out with them, it was them, me, and two other people. And the mother was cool. The mother used to give out these crystal rocks. Colorful, collectible diamond crystal rocks. And candy. And they invited, you know, again, it was two girls, the two twins, myself, and two other people, invited us to a sleepover one night. Spent the night in a tent. And they were really nice people. Those two friends of mine on Halloween night on 97 on October 31st, right around the corner 2 blocks down, a child molester. His partner broke out of prison who was also a child molester. Both of them kidnapped those two girls, raped them, beat them, hung them on a fence. But there's also someone else involved, man. A friend of mine who did not like those girls. And he told those two pedophilias, those child molesters, those rapists, those murderers about those girls. And I believe he did have something to do with their deaths. I strongly do. Now, yeah, he's in prison. I forgot what for. He ain't getting out no time soon. And karma's a bitch. And karma has a way of coming back on people. And he's doing time for that shit. So, again, you know, all this, you know, I made this channel so people can get knowledge, man. So we can be exposed as black people. So we can be awoke to things. So we can grow beyond our expectations that society puts us in. And it's okay to have knowledge. It is. Me, I'm 28 years old. I got 2 more years before. I got this year, I turned, 29. And I answered for my stuff. I did. I came to pass with it. I came to truths. I moved on. And I hope people understand where I'm coming from, and that you guys now understand why I made this channel, so we can be awoke mentally, spiritually, physically, grow beyond our expectations, and to gain knowledge, and also be exposed from things that we do that we need to stop doing. Hopefully one day we can come together and cut out those bad apples, you know. So